So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can highlight a cell or a specific row of cells based off of a drop down. So this is a great way if you want to specifically highlight cells or rows based off of a category or maybe a priority. You can do a whole lot of different things with this, and it's all based off of our drop downs. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you actually have some drop downs created. I have two right here. I have drop downs for my category as well as drop downs for my different priorities. So once you've got that created, what you want to do is create some conditional formatting rules. And so if you only want it for just one cell or just one specific column, you're just going to select the range of cells you want to apply that to. Go to Format, Conditional Formatting. Then under Format Rules, you can choose to do text is exactly. And then you're just going to write in whatever word it is. So if you're doing priorities, you might do high, medium, low. Category, we have a few different options here. So I'm going to do work. And as you can see, it's already highlighting whatever word or whatever cell has that exact word in it or set of words. And then we can choose formatting. So let's say I want to highlight it in this pink. And I can also bold it, italicize it. You can change up the formatting however you want, and then click on Done. So now what I would need to do is do a rule for every single category I have. Now, if you want to do it for the entire row, you're going to have to do a little bit of a custom formula. So what you want to do is select the entire range of cells you want to highlight. So for example, if I want to highlight both the checkbox area, the task, the category, and the priority, then I'm going to select the entire range. So I'm selecting all those. If I only want to highlight the task and the category, you're just going to select those two columns or whatever columns that you want. But I'm going to select the entire range because I want to apply it to the entire row. Then I'm going to go to Format, Conditional Formatting. This is where we're going to have to add in a custom formula. So I'm going to go to Format Rules. Custom formula is, and this is where we're going to have to decide where what we want to highlight. So for this example, I'm going to do it based off of priority, but if I was doing it for category, I would just make sure I reference the first cell where it has my drop down, which would be D6. But because we're doing priority, I'm going to do E6. So I want to do my equal sign, $sign, because we're locking in the column. Then I'm going to do E. So again, I'm referencing the very first cell where my drop down is. And then I'm going to put 6 because that's the row. So it's E6. And again, we put the $sign in to lock the column, but we don't lock in the row. So then that way it allows the conditional formatting rule to move throughout all the different rows. And then we're going to put an equal sign. And then in quotation marks, we're going to put whatever word you want to use. So let's say we want to do for high and then quotation marks. So it's going to highlight any row where the priority is chosen as high. Now I could choose my different formatting. So let's say I want to do this as a red and then click Done. So that allows me to do one rule. But maybe I want to highlight all the different variations. So I want to highlight the highs, the lows, and the mediums. So what I might do is, since I already have my rule here, I'm just going to click on it again, go to the bottom, click Add Another Rule. And what this allows you to do is to copy the rule, but we can make some changes. So it keeps the range, it keeps my formula, and it keeps my formatting. Now I just have to change, instead of it saying high, I'm going to put in medium. I'm going to choose the color as an orange and click Done. Now I don't want to click Done yet because I do want to add in a third rule based off of low. So I'm just going to click Add Another Rule. But if you're not adding another rule, just click on Done. And now this one I'm going to do for low. And then I'm going to choose my yellow. So it automatically highlights that. So I can click on Done, and then I can get out of my rules. And as you see over here, if I change this to medium, it'll automatically highlight as the orange. If I go to low, it does the yellow. And as well as down here. So it automatically updates that based off of that. So you could do it based off of the category, the priority. There's many different ways that you can do this, but it's based off of a dropdown. You just need to make sure the wording is exact. So let me just quickly bring up my conditional formatting rules. So it needs to say exactly low. If you do low with an extra R or something, let's say you misspell it, it's not going to highlight because it needs to be the exact word. So if you are doing it with like a category with two different words in it and it has a space in between, write it exactly how it is in the drop down. So if I had like, what would be an example? So, okay, let me just quickly change something. Let me go to here, and I'm just going to change this to category 1 and click done. I'm just going to apply it. Don't worry, I'm just showing you as an example. So if I make this as category 1, and I want to select my cell, format, conditional formatting, I'm just going to update some of these rules. Or I can make a whole new rule, but let's just change this so that way. So I need to change my cell reference because again, this one is for the category, so I need to change it to D6. So instead of $E6, I do $D6. And then, as you can see, because I changed that cell reference, it's no longer highlighting this one. So low is not highlighting. But if I do category 1 with no space in between, it will not highlight. So let me just do this as a bright yellow, click done. Let me just move my rules. And by the way, if you're brand new to conditional formatting rules, there is a hierarchy to them. So even if this was correct, let me just do it correctly. You can see it's not highlighting yellow because the rule that says that, hey, highlight this if priority is medium is higher. So it's always going to show the top rule and then go down from there. So if I move this up, you can see it now highlights as yellow versus orange because my priority of category 1 is higher than the priority of medium. Okay, so just remember that. I know it's a lot to learn, but don't worry. As you practice, you'll get used to this. But let me go back to this example. If I just wrote category 1 without the space in between category and 1, you can see it automatically does not highlight as yellow. It needs to be the exact wording with the exact spaces, whatever grammar, it needs to be exactly the same as what's in your dropdown. Anyways, so that's that. If you have any questions at all about conditional formatting using drop downs, let me know. Don't forget, I do have a free mini course if you do want to check out more Google Sheets, fun, awesomeness, lots of nerdy things. So if you're brand new to Google Sheets, you'll definitely want to sign up for the free mini course, the Wild Heart Spreadsheet Academy. I do show you how to create a really cute weekly planner, as well as there's a custom GPT to help you decide on the next spreadsheets that you want to create. So I will put a link below for that. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.